everybody, welcome back to a new video on the official Krale channel. Now, I know it has been a long time since I recorded a video on YouTube, and due to personal reasons and other stuff, I just wanted and had to take a break because I just needed to fix some things before I actually felt like going back into YouTube. Now, again, I do want to say that I'm very sorry for the long wait for most of you people that were watching my videos. I know that you guys actually enjoyed a lot of videos, including probably this one, because it's containing a pretty hot topic that some of you guys actually liked in my previous videos, because literally number 1 and number 2 were my most known videos on this, and they're actually, I think, the biggest on my YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's hop into the Leap Motion Controller 2 that got made by Ultraleap. So, some time ago on my YouTube channel, I made a video on the Ultraleap motion controller, and that was in the basically number 1, like the version that they actually released as their first programmed Ultraleap sensor. Now, eventually, I made, I think, 1, 2, or 3 videos on this Leap motion controller, and they actually were the pretty much hottest videos on my YouTube channel, and apparently it seemed to be a very hot topic for a lot of people. I often had the question, you know, does it combine with certain programs? Does it even work with 3D CAT? Does it even work with, you know, virtual reality? I do think it might be good to maybe make some more videos on, you know, what does it integrate with? What does it not integrate with? Is it still something I would recommend you should buy, or maybe look into something else? But I think it's maybe good to kind of like both you and me look through this whole list on the Leap Motion Controller 2, because I'm not going to lie, I am very intrigued and interested to find more about this device. I've not even read anything yet that's on the surface on this page. But I think it's important that maybe you and I both go through this page together and maybe see if there's any big differences that were made with the previous version. I do want to say that apparently on the Ultraleap Motion website, I did find out that they don't sell their original Leap Motion controller anymore, like number 1, the version. It seems to be that only Ultraleap Motion Controller 2 is only now for sale, and I think they probably decommissioned their first version. But again, without further ado, let's just hop over to the website and kind of look through what's new. So looking on the website, first on what we see is the Leap Motion Controller 2, and it retails for about $139 if you're from the United States. Now, I'm from the Netherlands. I think it's estimated around 145 on euros, depending your currency. But I gotta say, comparison to the old Leap Motion Controller, it looks a lot different, that's for sure. I mean, if you haven't seen the old version, then please go watch my older YouTube videos on the Leap Motion Controller, because it looks a lot different. Now, I gotta say, when I look at this device, it doesn't seem to me similar to the old version. I do like that they show off the clip here where you can put it on your virtual reality, which actually people, including myself, have done with the previous version. But now, as far as I reckon, what people would do is they would 3D print a standard for that Leap Motion controller to be able to be put on a virtual device. I really hope that most VR systems, maybe including the Oculus, or not the Oculus Rift. I think this is the Valve Index, as far as I reckon. But I hope it integrates with basically any virtual reality system instead of having to like build a 3D component in order to have it put on there. But without further ado, let's go and read what is new. So they say hello to the 2nd generation of Ultraleap's iconic hand tracking camera. They say it's on the world's most advanced tracking and 3D interactions for XR and PC. I gotta say, I'm really curious now to find out more. So for the system requirements, what is needed is a Windows 10 Plus, which assumingly means Windows 11 as well, which I'm currently running. An Intel i7 processor of a 5th gen. Now, I've got an Intel i9 12th gen running, so we should be good pretty much. And they also support Apple M1, M2, and supposedly M3 chips, as far as I reckon. And I hopefully think they might actually have Sonoma as the operating system as well. But that's something to speculate about. The Leap Motion Controller 2 is the ideal hardware to experience Ultraleap's world-class hand tracking, allowing you to use your own hands in digital worlds, bringing 3D interactions to your favorite PC applications, and empowering you to ditch the controllers in virtual reality. Now, I actually kind of like that, because I remember when I was using the Oculus Rift, my old one, the CV1, I think it was, you had 2 controllers that you had to use. And I think if you have a tracking device like the Oculus or controllers basically, or the Leap Motion Controller 2 that we're currently looking at. The fact that you can remove having the need to hold two controllers and being literally open to moving your hands and fingers, I definitely think that is a worthwhile experience to find out and to read more about what basically the Ultra Leap Motion Controller 2 has in store for us. It's making interaction with digital content effortless. Now, looking at the, example here, what the guy is basically doing, you can see that he's only wearing a VR goggle or a virtual reality glass. Training in VR has never been more effective. With the Leap Motion Controller 2, trainees can learn and practice critical skills in a safe, immersive, and realistic environment. Employees can master complex tasks quickly and confidently, leading to increased productivity and improved safety. Now, I gotta say that I've been to many conventions that include technology, mainly due to my full-time job working basically as an application manager. And I often notice, especially on the media company Dentsu that I work for, there's a lot of events where VR and XR and AR are basically integrated. Virtual reality, augmented reality, experienced reality. A lot of people that you'll see in companies, they will use any tracking device, whether that's with controllers or basically like a seaming effect with the Ultra Leap Controller Motion 2. I like that they say immerse yourself in a new reality. The Leap Motion Controller 2 lets you interact with your virtual surroundings in a way that feels natural and intuitive. By using just your hands instead of controllers to navigate through virtual environments, you'll feel fully immersed in the experience. They also mention that it has the world's best hand tracking on your favorite XR headset. So the Leap Motion Controller 2 can be attached to the most popular headsets from Pico. If you guys didn't know, Pico was basically Oculus Rift, but they combined it now, so it's Pico. Then we got the HTC and the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐒, giving you the freedom to choose the perfect device for your needs. Say goodbye to controllers and enter a new world of intuitive VR interaction. Now that's definitely something to look forward to. Don't limit your hands to flat surfaces and buttons, so interacting with digital content in 3D. So on the video here, or not the video, but like the example picture on the right, you can see that he's using basically I think as far as it's Rekordbox. It's like a music software. He's using a MacBook Air, but he's also using basically the Leap Motion Controller 2. So the moment that they're holding their hand above it, it basically tracks finger movement. It's pretty cool to see he's using a controller and his finger tracking at the same time. I'm really, curious to find out how that works on the application itself. The Leap Motion Controller 2 allows you to navigate and control your digital content, providing a more natural, comfortable, and user-friendly way to interact with your computer. Express yourself naturally with your hands. Bring your creative visions to life with a more immersive and interactive experience. The Leap Motion Controller 2 can add an extra layer of realism to your digital avatar, creating a more authentic and engaging experience for your viewers. Unleash your artistic potential with 3D MIDI control. So as you can see on the picture here, he's using a MIDI controller and of course the finger tracking done by the Leap Motion. 3D audio, mixing, and intuitive gesture-based interactions. Bring your creative visions to life, whether you're a musician, audio engineer, or visual artist, and take your projects to the next level. So, something I'm really curious to find out about is what people basically use the Leap Motion for. Like, we've seen a numerous amount of examples on the first version that they basically made. And now with this new Leap Motion Controller 2, I'm really curious to find out what else, people actually have done so far with this device. And I'm pretty sure we'll find more about that later on. They mentioned it's smaller, lighter, and better. Gotta say, the first version was already quite light. I mean, it had the dime size of a USB stick, so it didn't really feel that heavy to my experience. Next generation hand tracking technology includes better images via higher resolution cameras, an increased field of view, and a lower power consumption. All in a smaller package for optimum placement and convenience. I gotta say, it looks very, very nice in comparison to the old one. Hyperion is the Ultra Leap hand tracking software. With the availability of the Leap Motion Controller 2, Hyperion will support multiple different platforms, including macOS, XR2, Android, and Windows. Kind of want to see how it would work on a Mac, but I'm really curious to find more about that. For tooling and resources for Unity, some program that I used in the past, and Unreal, basically for game design and character design and avatar creation that I've done in the past. I actually use Unity, Blender, and Unreal, so it's cool to see that that works. Whatever your platform, the future of interaction is just a fingertip away. Tools and utilities allow you to integrate hand tracking into your applications quickly and easily. So basically, about when we mentioned powering your digital worlds, talk to one of our experts. Okay, so if we really would like to get in touch and see more about that, it would be kind of cool to see what we could do. All right, guess that doesn't seem to work. Oh, there we go. All right. Leap into a new area of interaction, empowering designers, engineers, educators, gamers, VR enthusiasts, and VTubers with seamless interaction. Now, I actually kind of like that they mentioned VTubers, because in the day of time that we live now, VTubers have become crazily huge as of now. Like, I've seen so many people on YouTube and Twitch and other programs and applications and platforms using like their own created VTuber, and I gotta say it's a massive leap now. Funny with leap motion. For VTubers to reach out like that, like they've become incredibly popular. So I'm really curious to see how many people would actually use this device for that. Design with precision, enhance VR experiences, revolutionize education, train immersively, and unleash your gestures to animate your virtual avatar. Now, I gotta say, I would like to watch this video, but I can't basically show everything, so let's have a quick peek to see what it basically is about. The reason why, because I don't want to get copyright claims. That's pretty much why. All right, so right off the bat, it looks to me, as far as I reckon, I would say that the old Leap Motion was made from metal, and I feel like this one is kind of made from metal, glass, and plastic. Not sure it does, but it does seem a bit plasticky in my eyes. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but in terms of maybe like quality, it might be a bit different, but we'll see about that, of course. So, a decade of pioneering advancements in hand tracking. By the way, if you want to see this video completely about the introduction of the Leap Motion Controller 2, I will definitely put that in the description down below. Also, for you guys to know, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below which you basically find most interesting about the Leap Motion Controller 2. And especially for the people who already have bought this device or have had any experiences as far as with the Leap Motion Controller 2. I would love to know your experience and also kind of get feedback whether it's worth getting this device. Keep in mind, I haven't done any background. I've just literally been reading what's on the page. This is a kind of like a deep dive into what's in front of me currently. And I also just wanted to see what it is about, because as far as I've done the videos in the past, I think it's also important that we keep along with the technology, especially when it comes to Leap Motion. Like, it's an interesting topic and a project that they're working on that really grabs my attention, because I love XR, AR, and VR technology, especially in the day of nowadays. So a decade of pioneering advancements in hand tracking. So they say 30% it's smaller and more lightweight form factor for optimum placement. Now, a feeling that I get with the current device, the Leap Motion Controller 2, in comparison to the old one, I have a slight assumption and feeling that probably some components of this device has been turned into plastic, where the old one was completely surfaced of metal, rubber, and glass, which obviously would mean that it becomes smaller and lightweight. But again, this is an assumption. I don't know if it's made from plastic. I feel like it's a combination between metal, plastic, and supposedly rubber and glass again. But it's a good thing that it's smaller and lightweight. Increased field of view. Now, the camera hardware that enables a bigger interaction space. I'll see if I can basically find what the interaction and increased field of view is actually in detail. But it's good that they mentioned that in terms of like advancements and productivity and upgrading the software and hardware, basically. It's a great step, not gonna lie. So the amount of power that it uses, it basically provides 25% less of power usage. So it's more efficient cameras, and the IR illumination allow you to track more with less. Now, I'm not gonna lie, everybody loves a good battery life, so that's definitely something that we enjoy seeing. I'm pretty sure for most people on big projects like that, especially for brain engineers. I think it's a great way to go forward. So here we can see some of the details, and I'm actually curious to kind of elaborate on all four of these and see the differences. So as we can see, we've got the Leap Motion Controller 2, the Ultra Leap 3DI, the Stereo IR 170 evaluation kit, and the Stereo IR 170 camera module. Now, I would have loved to see the old Ultra Leap between here to see the comparison between one another. I mean, you could Google it literally if you wanted to and experience it yourself. I'm not going to right now, but I would have loved to see if they actually put that in there as well. So the Leap Motion Controller 2 has for general tabletop, PC, Mac, and head-mounted XR use, which makes sense. We've literally read that before. The Ultra Leap 3DI is ideal for kiosk integration and public installation, so that's more like company business work. Then we got the evaluation and development price prior to integration and integration modules. So I think the Leap Motion Controller 2 and the Ultra Leap 3DI are both for personal or consumer use and company and business-wise. And then the Stereo IR 170 evaluation kit and the camera module are really for like enterprise business companies. I really like to see though the differences in, you know, what can be done with the left one, the middle one, the one on the right, or the camera module. Although I know that the top two on the right are basically extendings or add-ons for the Stereo IR 170 itself. And the Leap Motion Controller 2 and the Ultra Leap 3DI are like standalone devices. So there's a combination of the two and two separate ones. But it's definitely cool to see what they're basically used for. So yeah, if you want to, we can run through the details on the Leap Motion Controller and the other tracking software, but I don't really think that's necessary, as literally everything is and can be seen on the screen here. Then for the technical specifications, that's something I was actually kind of looking forward to, because it maybe also shows here what is basically used on the device itself. So for technical specifications, we've got a power supply with a requirement of a 5 VDZ via USB and 500 mAh battery. Okay. We got a data connection with USB 3.0. That's amazing. I would not really understand why someone would be using a 2.0 ever again. But it's nice that they have a Type-C USB connector. Definitely want to stay away from the micro USB or any other types of connection. Like, please keep it universal. Tracking range and field of view. So the depth between 10 centimeters or 4 inches to 110, which is 43 inches, and 160 by 160 field of view. It's a lot bigger than the one we had previously. I don't know the exact dimensions, but they were a lot smaller than what we currently are working with. So that's amazing to see. The camera frame rate, as far as I reckon, the old one was about 45 to 60 FPS, where this one is 150 as a maximum. So I'm already happy enough with a stable 60 to 75 range, but the fact that it goes up as a maximum to 115, that's just incredible. We've got an operating wavelength of 850 numerates, and then a construction of aluminum and scratch-resistant glass. Okay, so as far as I reckon, then there's no plastic involved, which I think is a good thing. I think the difference between here is probably they're using aluminum, where I think the old version had like steel. Of course, it was going to be a lot more heavier than the current version that we're looking at. But it's nice to see that the operating temperature is to a 0 Celsius to a 40 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit to 104 Fahrenheit. And then the storage temperature, it's about minus 30 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, or minus 22 Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Compliance is CE, FCC, 𝐂𝐒_CA, CCC, KCPSA. I know that for probably most of you guys, that doesn't mean a lot. It's basically compliance and legal entity and audit availability that's there. So if that's something you want to integrate with your company, especially on like security control, definitely check in on the compliance section. Compatible operating systems is going to be Windows 10 to 11, macOS Sonoma, and Android XR2. Don't really think there's that much of a difference there. I mean, it literally says that the system requirement's the same. Dimensions are 84 millimeters by 20 by 12, and the weight is 29 grams, which is very, very lightweight. So I am actually really happy to see these changes. Again, if you guys want me to get this device and really talk in depth with also my experience and the findings on this device itself, please do let me know. Because again, you guys know I love VR, AR, and XR technology. So it's something we can definitely dig into if we really wanted to. So for system requirements, we have a Windows 10 to 11 operating system, a 64-bit version, of course, with an Intel i7 processor. Don't really think there's much difference there, whether you use an Intel i7 or Intel i9 or 12. Yeah, so it supports basically macOS version 11.0, which is close to Sonoma. And then we got an Intel i7 processor or an Apple M1, M2. I can't recall if they leave out the Intel i9 processors or the Mac M3 chips. As far as I reckon, they should all work together because there's really much of a difference there between Windows 10, 11, and then M1, 2, and 3, apart from performance. But as far as I reckon, guys, this is basically everything on the page. I do know that Ultraleap went through a bit of a rough state because of, you know, people were not that much interested in the technology because they kind of stopped with upgrading technology and they had a big waiting game of, you know, do we want to continue or not? And that's why I'm very happy to see that they started working with DigiLens, Lenovo, Varjo, and Pico, which used to be Oculus Rift, or Oculus in specific. Then for software choices, they're using Pixo, Vector, VR Pilot, and Manage HR. And for agencies, they've got the NY Metaverse, Immersify, and Meta Studios. So it's cool that they're working with Meta. I actually like to see that a lot. But guys, I honestly think that this device is something I will probably be getting soon because I really would love to use this on my VR system and see the differences between the first version and the second version. Now, keep in mind, I still have my old Leap Motion, so if you want to do a side-by-side comparison on the device itself in terms of, you know, the way it looks, the way it feels, and also, of course, the whole experience of experiencing 1 and 2 when it comes to Leap Motion, please do let me know down in the comments below if you guys feel like you want to see that. I do want to say to most of you guys that it's always a very, very big opportunity for me to make these videos, and the fact that you guys are very interested in the whole Leap Motion section, and I know a lot of you actually are very happy to see me make a new video about this. It means the world to me, and I really just want to get back on the game, make as many videos as possible. But bear with me that with a lot of things happening, you know, moving to a new place, personal life stuff, and having a new full-time job, and changes basically. There's a lot of things I still want to change. So again, thank you guys for watching. Honestly, hope you really enjoyed this video of a more in-depth version of the Ultraleap Motion Controller 2, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys.